I welcome you to my another video about tools. Today we will show these cable cutters that differ from regular cutters you may know in one thing. They are more like scissors than regular cutters that rather compress the wire. These are far better than these classic ones, and we will show its abilities on wires up to 70 mm squared or 2/0 American wire gauge. If you don't use metric. These cutters are also perfectly suitable for insulation stripping, so you have two in one. All these scissor cutters were tested 1 month in industrial conditions by myself, as I am professional electrician. The only exception is the cheapest Aliexpress ones that are useless. It's a piece of junk, really. Don't buy it. And also exception is this Weidmuller. That I have been using for like 3 years maybe. This review or test is one of a kind, as these tools usually don't get reviewed, and if they do, it's like 2 of them, maybe 3, and the reviewer has just unpacked them and says that this color fits him better than this color and these look better than these, and that's all. So go hurry and buy them from my affiliate link, so I have some percentage of your price. Well, that's the unfortunate reality. I am sponsored by my channel members on my main Czech channel with like 58 times more subscribers, so I have no motivation to lie to people. So this test will be more thorough. These reviewed cutters cost total of $150 that I don't think any electrician or company would invest into just finding out which ones are the best and then tossing the rest of them somewhere. Now, why exactly are the scissor types like 98% better than classic side cutters? There are many reasons into this. Firstly, they do not compress the cable or wire, so they don't squeeze it into odd wide shapes. Regular cable that goes into walls, for example, look at this. I will attempt to cut it. Ah, fine. I have shot something. I hope the UPS doesn't die. Look at this. Look at this flattened wire or cable. It's ugly. It's ugly as hell. It's ugly cut, it's sharp, and it's deformed. Now I shall use cable scissor-like cutters. No effort, a nice cut, clean, and looks still the same. Secondly, as classic cutters squeeze the cables, they use high percentage of your hand force to compress the copper, while the minor part of your force actually tries to cut the cable in half. This means the force you must apply is too strong and will make your hand hurt after some time with thicker cables or thicker wires, as we have seen. Scissor cutters produce mainly shearing force, so therefore you are able to cut 5 times bigger wire with same force from your palm. While 2.5 mm or 14 gauge wire begins to be a load for classic cutters with scissors, you can only feel greater resistance above 10 mm squared, I would say. It's 6 gauge. Third argument why these are far better than these is wire stripping. These cutters will most probably also replace your insulation stripper, just as they did to mine. Beautiful. These two differently rounded blades allow not only for better force distribution amongst the cut percentage, but also for finer fit to different wire cross sections to further serve as brilliant 2-in-1 tool. Let's go through them. Classic generic Chinese cutters. First sample is this red cutter from Aliexpress for like $10. The cheapest ones you can buy. At first I thought these are just gonna be crude and simple, but maybe worth for some DIY cutting. Well, not at all. They are far from being usable. Even if you close one eye and try to just split one wire in two, they are bad. The center pin, this center pin has so huge play that you can wobble it to have space between blades as thick as 2 papers. Can you see the space between them? Now, let's try to actually cut something with them. This is like 6 millimeters squared wire. Look at this shit. Garbage. Useless. Useless piece of junk. These are the only ones I haven't tested in my work, as they are absolute useless piece of garbage. Laoa Chinese cutters. Laoa is quite known Chinese manufacturer, so I have ordered 3 cutters from them. Laoa also offers VDE cutters, but their price is a little off, as it would directly compete against Wiha, so there is no practical reason to buy them. Laoa isn't generally bad, but all these cutters made one huge mistake. Only one huge mistake, and it's ergonomics. They are too rounded, and one is unable to open them enough with just one hand, rendering the Laoa cutters tool for 2 hands operation, which is impractical. Moreover, the rubberized area is only at the end and missing here, so you will eventually keep pressing with your fingers on bare metal. This would lead to huge discomfort and may even lead to electrocution, although these are not VDE rated, of course, so you shouldn't do it. These small Laoa cutters are, well, quite okay for the price, but the ergonomics is very bad. But for $14, well, they may be worth it if you definitely want something the cheapest, but you can only fit 16 millimeters squared wire in them. Then, these universal ones. I have never liked too much in one solutions when it comes to pliers, and mostly crimping pliers. These are garbage. These stripping holes where you are not gonna use them. It's easier to use the main blade set. Moreover, the pliers are too massive at the tip, so they won't fit in tight areas. But compared to the previous ones, these can cut 50 mm squared wire. Handle grip is 2 layers of classic, I don't know, maybe rubberized shrink wrap or anything. These 2 layers are softer to touch, but you also lose the last sense in your fingers, so you may have them a little sideways and not notice it. The biggest Laoa 8-inch, I shouldn't have bought them, really, and they shouldn't even produce them, as they are useless. They are for 2 hand operation only. 1 hand operation is really bad and your hand will hurt. You can only open them for like maybe 6 mm squared wire with 1 hand, so it's too big for 1 hand and too small for 2 hands. Ow, ow, ow. Useless. Now, how about these red Fortum cutters? Fortums are the first VDE cutters in our list of cutters, sorted from lower price to higher price. VDE means you can work under voltage with them, but please pay attention not to cause short circuit with them or to cut wire that transfers high amperes. Even worse for DC currents, of course. Handles are a little squarish, which makes good area for contact with your fingers, and it's easier to push on that huge area. You can cut up to 35 mm squared with these with ease. They are also precise enough to cut paper. As you can see, being priced at reasonable $20, they are really good adept. Wiha is VDE too, and its shape is the most modern, I would say. This complex shape, however, has some meaning, as the area of thumb, around thumb, is narrower, so your thumb can go around more easily. And this pressing area for your palm and rest of the fingers is more flat for better grip or contact area to push on. Wiha fits in hand perfectly, absolutely perfectly, even considering that my hand is a little bigger as I wear size 11 or 12 to gloves. The tip is sharper, so they fit even between some wires and cables and can reach tighter places compared to this boot. Another aspect why Wiha is superior to any else cutters is the fact that they don't flex if you press on them hard. Watch this ending. I press on them hard and they almost don't flex. Look at, for example, more expensive Weidmuller as they flex. So they are definitely sturdy as hell. One more feature on them is this metal piece that when engaged it serves as leaf spring, willing to help you open the jaws. It's comfortable to have this opening relief spring, as you don't need to stick your last 2 fingers in between to open it. In one hand you can open them to fit 50mm square wire. Wiha cutters costed me $33. Weidmuller cutters are the most expensive ones from this test, being priced at $41. Please be aware that these prices relate to Czech Republic market, and I convert Czech koruna to dollars. The prices may of course slightly vary depending on your country. The shape of the Weidmuller is more simple, as the cross section of the handle insulation is rounded square with constant dimensions from beginning to the end. They are longer but slimmer than Fortum. You can single-handedly open them to fit 35mm squared in them. These ones are same as these. I have been using them in professional field for like more than 3 years, and after 2.5 years they began to have some signs of wear, as the smallest jaw blade section is no longer that good in cutting stranded wires. UTP wire, 24 American wire gauge. Aliexpress. Oh, quite okay. Oh. Yeah. Laoa. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Perfect. $6mm squared wire. Aliexpress. Foi. Laoa. Quite bigger resistance, but still okay. Laoa Universal. Yeah, super. Discomfort. Fortum. Nice. Wiha. Weidmuller. Yeah. 10mm squared wire. Aliexpress. The bigger jaw. Yeah. Okay. Mm. Fortum. Ja. Wiha. Nice. Weidmuller. Quite a resistance. $35mm squared. Aliexpress. Oh. Too small. Laoa. Laoa. Nej. Fortum. Oh. Ja. Wiha. Nice. Perfect. Weidmuller. Ah. $50mm squared. Ja. nej. Fortum. Wiha. Ha! Perfect. Oh, nice. 70mm squared. Laoa. Oh. Oof. Limit. Oh, yo. Wiha. Oh. Ja. Oof. Oh. To be honest, my favorite is Wiha. Wiha is most modern of all these cutters, and it's very well designed to fit in hand and to be as universal and convenient as possible. I don't know about anything that could be changed to be better on these. Maybe this stopper, this limiter. Yes, at least something. It could have a bigger boot or bigger the contact area, because these stoppers are useful for disassembly of ferrule. If you can press it one way and then rotate the ferrule 90 degrees and press it another way, and the ferrule will come off the wire. You don't have to cut it, you can disassemble it. If you are electric expert or professional, go and buy Wiha. If you are a DIY electrician or hobbyist, you can buy cheaper Fortum. Reasonable price, good quality, comfortable handling. The cheapest, at least somewhat useful, is this Laoa 6-inch from Aliexpress. But it's the cheapest that can be used, and I would rather go and buy Fortum. Anyway, the rule that the more you pay, the better product you get is quite applied in this field too, with only one exception being the Weidmuller. That should cost the same as Fortum, not twice as much, but half, just like Fortum, because Wiha is less costly and significantly better in almost any aspect. So Weidmuller is, in my eyes, overpriced. It's not bad, it's good, yes, but it's overpriced as hell. Any other cutters, apart from Weidmuller, are like you get what you pay for. And if you pay $10, well, you have thrown your money into waste bin. One more tip that applies to all pliers. It may be these pliers, these, or these. Take care and grease them. The center pin needs to be greased in order to be operating perfectly. I personally use WD-40 and I apply the WD-40 like twice a year on these center pins, and the WD-40 displaces the rust of them, and then they are less squeaky and they have lower resistance when operating them, and also if you grease something, then it's running better. So take care of your tools and they will last longer. Well, now I am glad you made it here, because that means this video is helpful for you and you will use the information gained here well. Personally, from when I began using these cutters, I have never since used insulation strippers. Never. If you like the content of this video, please share it between electricians. This channel, although it has, I would say, good content, it's almost invisible to public. You are also free to consider liking, subscribing, everything like this. That's all for this video. Goodbye, and I hope to see you in another video.